Hello, gamers from around the world. This is Boxenberger, the video game enthusiast from Germany, and I would like to welcome you to today's episode of the World of Gaming. And we are here on a Saturday, Dutch. We missed, unfortunately, again the Thursday spot, and I blamed it on you. I would have been ready to go. So, any excuses other than real life?
No, real life. Work. Yeah, that's it. That's all it is.
Okay. Well, so that's why we're here on a Saturday, because we didn't want to skip this week's podcast. And so a big welcome to everyone who listens here on a very unusual World of Gaming slot. But we are glad you made it here. And of course, a big welcome to our listeners who do listen after the fact, either on YouTube or on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening. Big welcome. If you do enjoy our podcast, because we have been growing pretty well on Apple Podcast lately, consider leaving us a 5-star review. If you do enjoy the show, it would really help us out. And Dutch, my man, now how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Like I say, just been working and decorating. So I'm step by step redecorating the house, just to put my own stamp on it. So, and whilst it's warm and it's not like middle of the winter and things like that, and things can dry quickly.
Yeah. Can just leave the windows open and it dries.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, just work, to be honest. Not really too much else, and trying to relax and little spits and spurts. I haven't really done too much gaming, but the gaming we have done, we'll get into and we'll talk about.
I've played actually quite a lot. I can tell it's summer vacation time here in Germany, and a lot of my coworkers are on leave, so it slows down a little. I can tell. So I've been playing quite a few games, but we'll get to that in a second. First of all, again, welcome to everyone, and I hope everyone is doing good. And Saturday podcasts are typically not that, usually not performing that well. So if you do end up enjoying this, again, it would be awesome if you just hit the thumbs up, share this out. We are live on this unusual slot. And before we get into a lot of topics today, Dutch, we need to talk about the most important thing in gaming, and that are, of course, our games that we are playing. So what kept you busy lately?
Yeah. So dropping in and out of little things here and there. Again, I'm still playing through Adventures of Elliot. Fantastic game. Great game to... The best thing about Adventures of Elliot is it is a perfect game to pick up and play. You can just pick it up in small spurts. You don't feel like you have to play it in long stints like some games where they've got mega long levels. It's got nice little miniature save locations dotted around all over the map that you can find, and you can just go in and save there and heal up and things like that. So you can literally I'll just do a quick dungeon. Go into the dungeon, clear the dungeon, fight all the enemies, get the rewards, come out, go to the save location, save, that's it. And then just jump off. So you can have a nice little half an hour, you can have a couple of hours, you can do as long as you want or as little as you want. There's so much to explore. Honestly, I love the game. And I'm still going to convince you to pick it up for your Holly Bobs.
I'm this close to actually pick it up. We are going on...
You will not regret it.
We're going on family vacation in about 2 weeks, and I'm thinking about you picking that up beforehand, then take it with me on the alley. I mean, it's play anywhere, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is. I've got it installed on my PC, I've got it installed on my Ally, I've got it installed on the Xbox.
Good. I mean,
funny story
there. Funny story there with Adventures of Elliot. The other day, my sons went...
obviously, just on the Elliot thing and Zelda for the moment. You even have a fairy companion.
Ah. Little
That
reminiscent
also
here
does
of
damage and can attack
Ocarina of
and
Time.
set things on fire and things like that. So
Okay,
there's
okay.
a lot to like about this game if you're a Zelda fan.
I mean, again, I would do my kids a big favor because I was so proud, Dutch. I was so proud. The other day, my kids went to the local kiosk. I don't know what's that in English. You know, they usually buy once a month the new Lego Ninjago magazine.
Yeah.
And so they went to the store to pick that up. And only the little one came home with the magazine, and the big one had a Nintendo magazine with him. And he was like, I don't want to play with Ninjago Lego that much anymore. I saw this at the store and I was like, oh, video game magazine. Very old school. I mean, he's only like 10 years old and he doesn't have a smartphone yet. So I was like,
Good. Keep away from Twitter.
Yeah,
You'll
I
hate
will.
video games.
I will. And yeah, I was such a proud dad, and he was lying in his room, reading through his first magazine, video game magazine. And I wasn't aware that they are still making those. And there was a review in there about Adventures of Elliot.
Oh.
And then he was like, Daddy, we need to get this game, but we need a Switch 2 for it. And I was like, dude, we can also play it on the Xbox and the Ellie and everything. And now he's putting pressure on me to get the game.
Well, that makes two of us. Don't worry, I'm fighting your corner.
Yeah.
Your dad's going to get it. Your dad's going to buy the game.
I know. I will.
Right now.
I will give in. Eventually. It looks fantastic, right?
Yeah.
It looks like it's right up my alley. So I will have to get it eventually. What else have you been playing?
Yeah, we were talking about this briefly before we came onto the stream.
Yeah.
I've been dipping into Halo, and the reason I'm dipping into Halo is because I'm just not feeling it. And I don't know what it is about it. I don't know whether or not I've maybe outgrown Halo. That's a possibility. On the second side of it, the forced implementation of film grain and chromatic aberration is a diabolical choice. Nobody in video games, and I mean nobody, wants that in any game, let alone a Halo game.
Yeah,
the moment
I agree.
anybody goes onto a game, they turn it off. So I don't understand why developers to this day still include any of those in video games. Those are for movies and movies alone. They do not do any kind of benefit or justice to video game art.
I can tell you why. I'm with you on your argument. There should always be the option, or the default version actually should be that it's turned off. But I'm telling you two things why they put it in there. The first is almost all these games do have some sort of upscaler going in, right? On rendering internally, like, I don't know, at 1440p and then put it out at 4K, stuff like that. And almost even DLSS still has that. If you have like very fine textures or foliage, with foliage you see it a lot, right? If you have the grass moving a little, you get this noisy flickering, and that is significantly decreased when you have film grain on.
Yeah.
Well, it isn't actually decreased, but it isn't as noticeable anymore because everything is grainy, Yeah. And that's one reason why they put it in there. And the other thing is they are just trying to mimic, or do have the feeling, especially with chromatic aberration, that this gives the games a more cinematic look. But like
not once
in movies,
have I ever played a game with that in.
The funny thing is, if look into how modern cameras are built for filming movies, IMAX cameras, and all the good stuff,
Yeah.
and how much effort they are doing to avoid chromatic aberration.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
especially
that's
the Odyssey, especially Interstellar, where they go for depth of field and these lovely, beautiful shots.
that's something different. Depth of
That's
field
different,
that's
but
something
they
different.
like a clear, sharp, very vivid image. They don't want this blurry shit all over the screen.
I could. Many years ago, I wrote a PhD thesis in optoelectronics, and I could explain to you in detail what chromatic aberration is, but basically it is an error in the lens. So if not, depending on the wavelength, basically the color of the light, every lens has a little different. Every wavelength has a different refraction index in the lens, and that's why blue light and red light isn't focused on the same point by a lens.
Yeah.
And that's the reason, if you look into modern cameras, even your smartphone cameras, doesn't consist of like one lens. It's like 8 to 15 in big cameras, sometimes above 20 different lenses to avoid chromatic aberration. And developers are so stupid to put it artificially in games to mimic the filmic look. It is ridiculous, and every movie maker would be absolutely happy if they could get rid of that shit. So, I'm with you on Halo there. It's a shame that you cannot turn that off because it really, the game itself is a beautiful game. They have done a well job in Unreal 5, but this destroys like the beauty of the HDR implementation and so on. So I've been playing it also a lot on the ROG LEX, and there you can mod it out because it's the PC version, right? And the game looks so much nicer without it.
Yeah.
Anyway, on the game itself, what do you think about the game itself?
It's all right. It runs okay. It's about as much as I'll give it.
Okay. Okay. Care to elaborate, or shall I jump in?
I mean, it's quite hard to speak about it because, as I mentioned a little bit before, I'm struggling to play it. It's Halo. I started like not many people have, but it seems like a few people did. Started with the bonus missions, which are the prequel missions.
I started with the bonus missions
and
as well because they were supposed to be a prequel mission, you know?
Yeah, and they're not that fun.
No, but I've seen a lot of people complain about that the new missions aren't well done, and I agree with that. They are not really good. I also had an issue. I played the 3 missions, and I think I was close at the end of the 3rd mission. The game crashed on me, and I had to resume my save file when I was somewhere in the 1st mission of the bonus missions, right? And I was like, screw that. I'm just going to play the actual campaign.
Yeah.
And I think the actual campaign, I mean, again, they did, besides the film crane stuff and chromatic aberration, I think they did a pretty good job with Unreal in the game. But I'm with you. It's not like the game keeps me hooked. It's more like, and I don't really know why. Maybe it's because I've played this campaign so many times before. But it's okay, but I'm not really hooked. You can also tell it is an older game, the level design and everything. I mean, they've added sprint, they've added aim down sights, right, to modernize it, which is good. I know a lot of people complain about that, but I think that's good to modernize the gameplay. But after having played Halo Infinite, which just feels so much more modern in terms of level design and handling of the guns and the vehicles and everything, I'm going to finish it, but you can tell, I mean, it's only like a 10-hour game, right? And I haven't finished it yet. So you can tell I'm distracted by other games that I just enjoy more at the moment. It's not that it's bad. And I was wondering, and I asked this question also on Twitter, and I got some really interesting answers there. But I want to hear your thoughts, Dutch. If we didn't have the nostalgia for the game, if this was the first time you're playing a Halo game, like many probably on the PlayStation do, would we enjoy it as much?
Nope.
I think so too. I don't think that if you are new to Halo and you play this, I don't think you get why Halo is so big.
Nope.
So yeah, I mean, it's a cool fan service that they did it.
It is purely nostalgia. Like you say, if it wasn't for the fact that it was nostalgia, one thing I am glad about is that I didn't pay for it.
Yeah, agree there.
Because if I paid for it, I already feel like I'm forced to play it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm forcing myself to play through it, and I think if I'd actually bought the game, I think I would be pretty disappointed that I spent my money on it.
With you there.
And that's just from a personal perspective.
Yeah. With you there. What else have you been playing, man?
Oof. No, actually, that's about it. This week, this last week or so, that's all I've been playing. It's just a little bit more Adventures of Elliot and diving into some Halo. I mean, played a little bit of FIFA and things as well with the season starting up again. I got the FIFA bug, but only kind of little dribs and drabs in between painting.
Yeah.
And waiting for little sections to dry, and then I'd just jump on the alley for a second and play for a quick half an hour, and then go and do the next section. And so.
Have you checked out the Gears beta?
No.
You should.
No. Because, the only reason is because I'm not really that bothered about the multiplayer, which is what everybody's super looking forward to. I'm just waiting for the campaign.
I mean, you will be even more hyped for the campaign. You don't have to play PvP. Yeah?
Oh, no, I can play the new Horde mode thing that they've got on there, but...
Yeah, that's basically all I've been playing, like 2 matches or so PvP. But I'm...
full of sweats.
I'm so bad at it that I jump back into Horde, which I'm really, really enjoying. They've changed the formula up quite a bit. They've 3 different Horde modes, basically, at least in the beta, which basically define the length of the Horde mode, right? There's a Blitz mode, which one round takes about 15 minutes. Then there is the Siege mode, which takes 30 to 40 minutes per round, and a good hour or so for the full Horde mode. And so I love that because you don't always have the time, right, to play an hour-long Horde mode round. And the Blitz mode offers you like a 50-minute experience. And basically what they do is they start the match, and you have like an open map. You can basically go to every place in the map. There are certain like side quests you can activate that take 2 to 3 minutes that will give you like a boost for the rest that you throughout the match, right? And then they have typically 1 or 2 main objectives that you need to do. Go somewhere, defend a thing, and then the waves start, right, to come in. 3 waves in the blitz mode, or 5 to 7 in the middle mode, and a lot more in the big one. And depending on the objective of the main mission. And after that, you have to move to a certain area to get your squad extracted. And you have to clean up the extraction area, and then they take you out. And it is really, really good. So it's not like in the typical classical horde mode where you just start at the beginning and then it counts down, waves is about to begin, and you rush in. This is really, really fun. It plays absolutely fantastic. It took me, and I'm still getting used to it, to the new controls, because, you know, they have the sprint on the left stick, like basically how it is in every game these days, right? But Gears was always like push down A to sprint. They don't have that anymore. A is just getting into cover, and then they have the Y button as the jumping over stuff, or vaulting your obstacles and stuff. And you kind of need to get used to that kind of movement. But once you do, it really plays well. They've changed a lot, even like sprinting. It's not as shaky anymore, right? You have a lot better control while sprinting of your character. It feels butter smooth. I'm playing in the performance mode. And even in the performance mode, it looks fantastic. As you can tell, they did drop a little the resolution. It gets a little blurrier, but especially in horde mode, you kind of want to have the 60 FPS, right? But it runs really well for a beta. I've only like one issue with or bug encountered so far, is when you use the Nasher and you like shoot others. There is a little delay in them exploding, which is kind of weird. But other than that, it's really, really good. I am super hyped now for the main game. I love what they do with the way how you progress your character. Like when you do a mission, you successfully get extracted by the helicopter. You take weapon parts with you and so on, and then you can like upgrade your stuff, but not in a way like that. So there are, at least for now, and I think they've confirmed that as well. It's all no pay to win
in-game
stuff. It's all in game, and so you can basically then unlock frag grenades that you have those from the beginning, right? Or add like a knife to your Nasher and stuff like that, so it feels rewarding to progress your character, but it doesn't feel like if you're level 1 you cannot play the game. So so far I'm really, really happy with how they are treating that. And of course you just want to play the campaign now, right? But I'll be playing more over the weekend, and I mean next weekend it's the open beta, right? This one is still the closed beta that is only available for those who pre-ordered or do have Game Pass Ultimate. Next weekend they have the full open beta for everyone, and I highly recommend to check it out. Dutch horde mode is so much fun. It really is fun. So couldn't recommend that more. But the game that, other than Gears, that really had its hook in me over the last days is Hades 2. I finally
I thought as much.
Yeah, most of the time when I was online, I was playing that, right? Hades 2, absolutely fantastic game. I know I'm a little late to the game.
Yeah.
It has been sitting on my I need to play this list. And I finally got around, and I'm so glad I did. It is. Have you played the first one?
Yes, actually, yeah, I have a little bit.
But you weren't a big fan, right?
No, it was an alright game. I'm just not a massive fan of die, rinse, repeat, die, rinse, repeat, die, rinse, repeat, die, rinse, repeat. It's a good in terms of mechanically in the initial fun cycle. It's fine. I've just just that cycle. Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of that.
I'm loving it. It's the roguelike genre is really hard to get right because there are so many roguelikes out there that are just not fun and are frustrating to a point. And don't get me wrong, Hades is brutally difficult. But it is also so rewarding, and the learning curve you take, like which upgrades to get, how to do certain things, and suddenly you feel like, wow, now I can progress really in the game, and it's just rewarding. It is super addictive. Runs really well. Even on the Rock Alley, absolutely phenomenal performance on the Rock Alley. You get like 90 to 100 FPS. There are no settings. It only has like one graphical setting. But yeah, it is absolutely addictive game. Absolutely addictive. So yeah, that was basically my gaming routine over the last week. Halo, a lot of Hades, and Gears beta. And just looking at the footage of Gears, man, I just want to play it again. It is so good. Feels so good. And it's pure fun. I'm gonna be spending a lot of time in that.
Well, I'm looking forward to it when it officially releases, and I'll be diving in.
Yeah. Give the beta a try. Just play a
for
match
me,
or
it's
two.
especially with. Yeah, but for me, it's especially when it's like this is a game you can play for a little bit, and then they turn the game off, and you can't play it again until launch. Like I'm like, nah, I think I'll just wait now.
I mean, it's not too long, right?
I'd rather. Yeah, I know. I'd just rather, especially when you've got to free up space and things first. I've got loads of games on there that I'm playing through, and I'd rather play through the games I can progress in now.
Yeah.
And then when that game releases, then I can play through that game and I can progress in it.
Yeah. I wonder if the progression carries over to the next beta and then to the full game. I don't know. Anyways, Dutch, let's get into some topics that we have this week. Let's start with a smaller one. It has been since the last podcast, August started, right? And everybody knew what was happening in August. The Xbox prices raise.
Yep.
Right. The Series X is now 800 euros here in Germany.
Yeah.
Which is still ridiculous if you think about it. That 6 years ago we bought it for 500, and usually the console should be at 300 at this point in the life cycle. But yeah, I've seen a lot of people complain about it and being surprised about it and so on. But I was wondering, didn't we know about this? Like they announced this, I think 2 months in advance. It's been a while since we talked about this, but like every major news outlet wrote articles, oh, Xbox raised the prices and we're so surprised that it's now 800 euros and everything. And I was like, and a lot of people were like, why is this happening? And blah, blah, blah. it was like, I mean, I'm not a fan of the prices, absolutely not. But it is also not that they came as a surprise. I
Yeah,
think,
like Nintendo did exactly the same thing, and there's
yeah,
increases in something like September or something like that.
which is even that is pretty fair that they announced this in advance, because I remember that the last price hikes from Xbox as well as PlayStation were like, okay, we are raising the prices, and next week the PlayStation 5 is, or the next day, the PlayStation 5 is 600 instead of 500, right? And
Yeah.
I think with a 2 months lead time, that is at least a pretty fair warning to everyone who was thinking about getting one for GTA in November and everything. So I really didn't get the outrage.
No, no, it is. It's absolutely fabricated outrage, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Completely fabricated outrage. Like you say, it's been announced months in advance. Months in advance. They even reported on the increase in hardware units, which they attributed as probably due to the fact that people know that the prices are going up in 2 months,
Mm.
so they're getting ahead of it and getting them. And now all of a sudden, it's these rage bait articles being created by these media things, pretending that they didn't know what was happening, even though it was talked about in advance. And all of them are doing it, all at different points, but they've all spoke about it in advance.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why so much outrage. Like,
Yeah.
we've already been through
Neither.
this. We've already been through the outrage when they first announced it, and what's the point in recycling it? They
Yep.
could have just led with the article, as expected. Xbox price rises have now come into effect following the announcements 2 months ago. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all the article needed to be.
Yeah. True that. True that.
Or they could have done an article last week or the week before or whatever it was, saying, reminder, Xbox price rises take effect
Mm.
in 2 weeks' time. So if you're going to get an Xbox, you need to get one now. Or these are the best deals prior to the price rises.
Yeah.
But none of them did that. They'd rather just wait and then put out these fake rage articles after the fact.
True that. True that. So yeah, high prices now for the consoles. I mean, it's just the times we're living, and I mean, it's only a matter of time before Sony is also going to the same, right?
Yep.
I'm surprised they haven't already announced that for PlayStation. But I feel like they might. I mean, there's a lot of hype on GTA going on already, right? And it'll be
Yeah.
even more towards the end of the month. We'll get to that in a second. But I feel like maybe they want to wait as long as possible with that to get the GTA thing hyped. Because right now, if you don't have a console that will support GTA and you're looking into getting one, it's quite a big difference. Yeah, the PlayStation 5 is 600 versus the Xbox at 800. And I
Yeah.
think Sony will want to keep it that way for as long as possible with the GTA
Oh, yeah.
thing happening.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And Xbox have shot themselves in the foot by doing the price rises now. They could have. It wouldn't have done them much more harm by leaving them as is until after GTA.
Mm.
They could have left them until GTA, or at least a week before GTA released, whatever, and just said, listen, we'll take the hit because we know this game's going to be a mega seller and we need to get the money in from this game.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, we've heard, I think Jess Corden put that out, that even after the price hike, they are still losing around 150 euros per console sold at the moment.
Jesus Christ.
Um,
What's the point in selling it?
yeah, you have to sell a lot of games afterwards to recoup for that money, right? And
Yeah,
the people that don't own the console 6 years into a generation are obviously not the ones that are gamers that buy games fairly regularly. So even if you say, okay, we might sell now a few more consoles for due to GTA, right? Um, are those the customers that we want? Because the guy who buys now an Xbox or a PlayStation for that matter, right? Just for
yeah,
GTA is not going to buy that many other games afterwards. And you would have to sell, like, let's take that as an example. If it's true that they are still losing 150 euros per console sold, and if you buy, I don't know, um, a game like GTA, how much is Xbox making off of that? Typically, they take the 25 to 30% cut. With Rockstar, probably a little less. However, let's say 25% on average. That means with
yeah,
every game sold uh, at 70 euros or 80 euros, you're only making like 20 bucks. So you would have to sell like 8 games to that customer just to break even, and that doesn't
yeah,
count for the money that it costs to run that particular account, right? And
yeah,
so is the guy who is purchasing a console 6 years into the generation just for GTA the guy that we will sell at least 8 games afterwards to break even? I think that's their train of thought.
yeah.
Um, But what do I know? Maybe Sony has better contracts, you know, and gets the memory cheaper, or maybe they have better stock piles that they can sell off now before they need to buy the expensive chips, storage, and so on. So we really don't know. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, seeing those prices next to each other, 600 for a PlayStation and 800 for an Xbox. Jesus, not a good look.
Nope.
Not a good look. Anyway, speaking of Sony, Dutch, the disc situation, still a topic. Still a
I
topic. But
don't know why.
according to Sony, they found a win-win situation because Sony revealed the first, well, like, I wouldn't call it an official statement, but at least an official comment on it. Um,
Yeah.
that Sony has been talking to retailers about this and the disc-free future, and a lot of US retailers still want to sell physical in terms of codes in a box, and that's what
Yep.
Sony calls the win-win situation for gamers. So wanted to just briefly, and I hope that this is the last time we talk about it, get your thoughts on
I
that.
mean, the only flip side of that, Sony, is that it's not the regular retailers that are bothered about it. I mean, even GameStop came out and said video games make up the smallest amount of proportion
Yeah,
of our revenue.
yeah,
Because now they've got involved in trading card games and memorabilia and all that shit, and that makes up far more money and revenue for them than video games ever did. Um, on the flip side, it's the second-hand market that is going to die. It will die. The second-hand market will die because it will only be filled
I feel
with
like the
retro.
second-hand market is already dead. I mean,
No, it's there's still a lot, and we're not talking about like massive change. We're talking about like brick and mortar, second-hand, privately owned companies that like we've got one in the UK called CEX,
hmm,
and they do predominantly. It is always, in fact, second-hand. it's always trade-ins. So it's the second-hand discs, it's movies, it's films, it's whatever it is. So they're predominantly now going to be essentially retro game stores,
Yeah.
and they will only be selling items that once were.
Yeah. I mean, again, I feel like the second-hand market has already
No
been
more
dead.
game trade-ins because
Game
yeah, no more game
trade-ins
trade-ins because that doesn't.
stopped, I want to say 5 to 10 years ago, already being a big thing. I know the occasional
You
guy out
basically
there.
the funniest. Yeah, the funniest thing for me is seeing people online saying, "Oh, I've went out and supported physical, and they've all bought from second-hand places." I'm like,
Mm,
you haven't supported anybody but yourself,
yeah.
because second-hand games don't contribute to physical sales.
Yeah. It's very true. Very true. Yeah, again, I
Oh, dear
feel
me.
like this really isn't an issue, and if the collectors are happy that they can put a plastic box in their on their shelves, so be it. Uh, I'm not one of
Like I
those.
say, the only argument I have in this whole physical digital turnover, the only argument is better rights for people with digital libraries.
Yeah, but we should argue for
The
that
only argument
anyway.
that needs to have.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
should.
exactly. The only argument that should and will need to happen is better rights for people with physical games.
Exactly.
If they decide at any point, even if it's 5, 10 years down the line, to turn off a game and not make it accessible anymore, they should be forced to refund a proportion of a game back to you, even if it's a quarter of the amount of the game, whatever it would be worth at that point. Say, right, game is now turning off.
Yeah,
If you've spent money on it, yeah, but
but that
that is
is.
consumer protection.
Yeah, but that's also happening with physical games, right? If you bought Destiny physical, yeah, good luck trying to play it now. I mean,
Yeah,
listen, all the games are anyway requiring online connections. Even if you buy a game today on disc, you basically get the code on disc, right? Every
yeah,
game you put in, it first needs to download this and that update, or even the entire game. And it's really not that. I think there are two things that people should argue way harder than rather than keeping discs. The first is, and I've said this from day one of digital games, digital games should be cheaper than physical.
yeah,
And I see barely anyone bring up that point. Rather than arguing for keep the discs, we should rather argue treat us fair, because you do not have to press the disc. You do not have to pay for shipping the disc and putting the disc on a retail store on a shelf to sell it, right? So a physical game should be more expensive than a digital one. And I've said this
yeah,
for decades now. But nobody brings up that argument, and that would be a much smarter argument to make, right? And the second thing is digital ownership rights. I mean, good old games, right? Does it fairly well, but those are the only one.
yeah,
No matter whether we are talking about Steam or PlayStation or Xbox or Epic or whatever storefront you talk about, we should all push them to give us the same digital ownership rights that we have on good old games, because I
yeah,
think those are the only ones that do it well, but they only have like a handful of games in their store. So but that is something we should argue far more for, rather than let's keep our discs. So yeah. Anyway, well, Sony probably going to sell codes in a box, and they call it a
yeah.
win-win. And I hope that this will be the last time we talk about this. I mean, we could briefly talk about the Project Positron from
Well, the Xbox
Xbox,
solution.
the Xbox solution. there has
That makes
been,
absolute sense. It's essentially
yeah,
you install the game, it provides a license. You don't need to put the disc in anymore after that until or only if you put that disc in somebody else's console with somebody else's profile. Then the license is taken away from you,
yeah,
and they get the license, and then they can play it.
exactly, exactly. I think that's a fairly good thing for game preservation, right? Um,
Yep.
it doesn't really solve the problem if the next consoles do not have a disk drive, that the disks, if you haven't already like locked the disk to
Yeah,
your account.
essentially, what
But
you have to do is prior to the next generation releasing is spend the time putting all your games in, putting all the
yeah,
licenses on your account, then
and
put
then
your
you're good
disc
to
back on
go.
the shelf, good to go. Because it's affiliated to your account. As long as it's your account, then you can all of your games are going to be there and ready to
Yeah,
install.
absolutely. And I think that's still a really good way to do it. To
Yeah,
move people over from a physical to a digital library. There have been leaked documents this week that there was actually a public beta planned for July, but that it was delayed. So, yeah, a lot of sources point towards that this will come fairly soon. So you will have enough time to go through the apparently hundreds of physical games that people have, right? And log them to your account. But yeah, I think fairly good move, pro consumer move, if that really comes to fruition. Um,
yeah. Oh, it's definitely come to fruition, and I can't see it being too much of an issue for them. It doesn't require anybody to do anything on any side. Because of Xbox, just remove the requirement for people to have a disc installed.
yeah,
Once it's in and it's been associated with an account, that's you can play it. You can take the disc out and play it.
yeah. And I mean, and we'll get to Project Helix later a bit more in depth, but everything points towards Project Helix being a Windows-based console, right? And under
Yep.
Windows, you can plug in like every possible external USB drive. So I don't see a reason. Yeah, you can go out and buy from whatever manufacturer you want a
Yep.
USB drive and plug it into your Windows PC. And if Project Helix really runs Windows, I don't see a reason why they shouldn't be able to use that. Just say to everyone, yeah, you can get any USB drive you want, plug it in, and your disks will work. But we'll force you to log the disk to your account with Project Positron, because
Yep.
then we don't have to care about having the installers ready, right? And the emulators ready and everything. You have to log your disk to your via this Project Positron to your account. You can still use any of your disks, plug in, but you have to do this because because the USB drivers are there, right, to make the drives work, but
Yep.
all the installers and emulators are not there, and we are not going to bother with those. Um, so yeah, I expect that to be Xbox to do exactly that, to be honest. And so if
Yep.
people ask, will Project Helix have a disk drive? Not per se, but you can use basically any external USB drive. You don't even have, it's not like an Xbox branded one or so that they will force you to use. So I
I mean,
think,
I already use two USB drives anyway for 360 and Xbox One games because they don't require SSD
yeah,
like the Series X games do. So I already use two massive external drives for old games.
mm,
That's how I store my games. Simple as that. It never failed, always work. Nice and easy.
exactly, exactly. All right, let's talk about since we both are not really physical guys, we really don't care. I don't have a single game on disc anymore.
Just old games.
I know
I've got
you have a
couple of
handful,
360 games and some.
but
Yeah.
both of us are not really that affected by this. Let's talk about something we are affected by that are good games. We get a deeper look at Final Fantasy Revelations in 1.5 weeks at the opening night live. They've confirmed that they will be there with an in-depth look. I'm really.
I don't know how much more in depth we can go.
I mean, so far we only got a little trailer, right?
A little trailer.
It was like 3 minutes long
20
or so.
minutes long.
No,
they did it. Yeah. They did a whole gameplay segment, and they did Vincent, and they did the combat, and they showed off all the characters, and they showed off the open world, they showed off gliding from the... It was like 10-15 minutes at least.
Nah. You
yeah,
sure?
They did.
Where did they show that?
When they first announced it, that wasn't just a single 3-minute thing.
Yeah, but there was a 3-minute trailer or 3.5 minutes or so.
No, they did a segment after that where they showed off Vincent and his fighting style. They showed off. Yeah. They showed off. It was not only Vincent. What's his name? Sid and his game style. The combination of both of those together. A little bit more of the open world. Yeah, they showed loads.
I must have completely missed that. Okay.
I think you missed. I think what you saw and then missed afterwards, because obviously I watched it live and you didn't.
Yeah.
What you saw was the initial trailer that they put on before they brought him on stage. And then he came on stage with the voice actor for Vincent and did a deep dive into the game.
I have missed this completely.
Yes, you have. There's so much they've already shown off.
Because I was sitting there putting the topics together for today's show, and I was like, man, I'm excited to see more of Revelations.
You need to go onto YouTube and watch some more. It was like 15, 20 minutes.
I definitely will. All right, then scratch that. Another game that has been announced, and I think we're both looking forward to that, is Octopath Traveler 3.
Yes. Nice.
Cannot wait. We don't have a date or anything. It was more like the director coming out, and yes, we are absolutely working on it, but we want to change things up a little and to fulfill the high expectations. So he asked fans.
I mean, they do have high expectations now after 1, 2, and 0.
Yeah, and honestly, they have improved with every single game. I loved the first one, but the second one was so much better. And then
and not only that, but then they've also got a little bit of competition, internal competition now, with the fact that Final Fantasy Resonance is also coming out.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Which I am super hyped for. That's another one of my big ones for this year.
Absolutely. And so don't expect Octopath Traveler 3 anytime soon. I would expect that game to be earliest. I mean, when was 0? 0 was last year, right? 25. So
maybe it's the end of next year.
Nah, that's probably too early.
You think?
Do you think they only have a 2-year development cycle for that?
But they might have already kickstarted the third one after they finished 0. Because 0, you've got to remember as well, 0 was the mobile game which was turned in. It was a mobile game which was turned into the main game.
Yes, that's true. So yeah, maybe towards the end of next year. Maybe I was more thinking of 28. So it'll still be a while.
It could be early 28. Could be like March, April. It could be like spring 28. But I think it could be tail end of 27.
I mean, I would be fine even if it is a 28 game. I don't need an Octopath game every year or every other year, right? I'm totally fine with.
Plus, we've got a big Final Fantasy next year. We've got Resonance this year. Again, you haven't even played Elliot yet.
Yeah. So I'm good with that, but I was
Square's really getting back into my good books recently.
yeah, absolutely. I was just happy to see that the franchise is doing apparently so well that they really doubled down on it and making now the fourth game, which is called 3, but
yeah, I know what you mean.
yeah. So yeah, good times there.
And deservedly so, and thanks to the Pixel remasters, and thanks to Octopath Traveler bringing new life back into turn-based,
Yes.
alongside Expedition 33 and things. They're seeing a resurgence again of, okay, turn-based is back in. People still like turn-based. Good stuff. Let's test this on Final Fantasy Resonance, and hopefully that does well enough for them to go, right, let's try another big mainline AAA game in turn-based again.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That would be the dream.
True that. Final Fantasy Resonance is also going to be at Gamescom this year.
Yep.
So
I hope they release a little demo like they did for Elliot and everything like that.
That would be cool. Yeah, but they did the same for Octopath. They've done it for Elliot.
The prologue.
Yeah.
Prologue demo. Do that for Resonance, please.
Yeah.
That's one demo I will play.
All right. Let us talk about GTA. GTA announced this week. Rockstar announced this week that they will provide us with an in-depth look on August 27th. And it is
with exclusive early access for Netflix.
Exactly. And I've seen a lot of people got mad about this. I mean, it's a 6-hour exclusivity. 6 hours.
Yep.
So after 6 hours, this thing will be uploaded to the official channels, and you can watch it on YouTube and whatnot. So we're talking like 6 hours of exclusivity here, and people were so mad that they partnered with that. I actually think that is a really cool move.
Genius.
It's
genius move.
It is.
It's going to be a genius move for Netflix, and it's going to be a genius move for GTA.
Absolutely, because it brings. It's not like, hey, here's a new trailer, and I mean everybody's going to watch that, but it is a more in-depth look. Apparently, it runs around 25 minutes, right?
Oof, that is in-depth.
And
I'll be watching it on Netflix.
I'll be watching it as well. I mean, for most people, let's face it, the 6-hour exclusivity isn't really a big deal, because it's not like everybody's at home sitting there waiting to drop it. I mean, if you're at work or something, by the time you get home, the 6 hours are already over, so it's really not a big deal. But I think the sheer fact that they do this moves this whole video game thing to a wider audience,
Yep.
And it shows, okay, this isn't just a video game launching, this is really a high profile, probably the biggest entertainment launch of all time.
Yep.
And I think that's a genius move. I wonder how it came about, right? Whether Rockstar approached Netflix or Netflix approached Rockstar. But it is a cool thing. I mean, I'm looking forward to see it, actually. It's not like I'm the biggest hyped fan for GTA. I can't say that, but it is a quality, high-profile game that I'm really looking forward to play. And so seeing more of it, exciting, and it's funny to get that through Netflix. Anyway,
I agree.
People were so mad. I don't know why. I mean, it's not like you're not being able to watch that without subscribing to Netflix, right?
I know. You can watch it after the fact. People are just like, why can't I watch it first? Because they've got themselves a little bit of money for putting on a Netflix. That's why.
Exactly.
It's a business. It is a business. Remember this, people.
And it's just the
It is a
beginning of
business
a
first and
big.
foremost.
It's just
Massive.
a big marketing campaign, right?
Yeah.
Jason
And they
Schreier.
did say it was going to be their biggest marketing campaign.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt. I mean, this is their biggest launch ever. It will top easily Red Dead Redemption 2 and easily what they did with GTA 5. What now? 10 years ago? 12 years ago, whenever that came out. So obviously, yeah. And Jason Schreier Jason Schreier came out that the game apparently, or the Netflix thing and in the deep dive will not mention GTA Online whatsoever. And of course, people.
No, I don't expect them to because it's not releasing with the main game.
And I don't think that they will even remotely mention GTA Online before the game comes out.
Yeah.
This will be fully focused on the campaign. Because if they would like now talk about it and announce, hey, we are bringing GTA Online in March, just for the sake of argument, yeah, people would only talk about why isn't it here at launch? Why isn't it here day one? And complain. That's why they are not going to mention that at all before the game comes out.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
All right. Anything you want to add to GTA?
No. Like I say, it's a massive marketing push. They did say it was going to be their biggest marketing push that they've ever done. And it's, again, for people that need to kind of turn their heads off for a moment and realize it's not always about the fans, it's about money, and it's a business. They're going to do these things in order to satiate the business plans.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Dutch. Let's talk about Xbox then. Since we are here now on a Saturday, we haven't had the chance to talk about stuff for 1.5 weeks or so, and I wanted to talk to you about a memo from Ashas again. It's like funny.
Yeah.
All those memos that Ashas puts out always get picked up and then people talk about. I mean, two things happened, right? They had the annual, the quarterly earnings report, and the Xbox content revenue decreased 10% in the last quarter. Hardware revenue declined 13%, and Ashas talked about returning to growth by this time next year, right?
Yeah.
So second half of next year, she expects them to return to growth again. And then she put out a written memo or statement for the Xbox division that they must move into business production, a business producing meaningful player value and revenue acceleration. And she also talked about scaling what works and downscaling what doesn't work, right? And all that stuff. And then she brought out basically 4 core pillars for Xbox. Are you watching football in parallel or something?
No, I'm actually clearing my nose.
Because I hear like a...
Oh, that's in the background.
background
I shall turn
noise.
it down for you. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, she talked about 4 core pillars for Xbox strategy, right? The first
Yeah.
pillar is the core, strengthen our platform led by console. Then content, grow great games into global franchises. Creation, make Minecraft the world's creator platform. And connection, extend the worlds that our fans love. And I just wanted to talk to you about and with our community about this. Well, the strengthening our platform led by the console is for me the most important thing here, because let's face it, under Phil, they have abandoned the console for the last 4 or 5 years. Basically, it felt like a year or two after the Series X came out that they just gave up on console. Right? There were no meaningful updates anymore for anything. Right? They have focused their efforts on everything's an Xbox, on cloud. Right? This is an Xbox was basically what they were focusing on and trying to find growth there. And it clearly didn't work, right? Whilst they gave up on console, and I feel like the worst mistake they made was going multi-platform, obviously. And now, since Ashas took over, and I mean, she's now in the office for 4 or 5 months, something like that. We have gotten more meaningful updates for the console than in the last 5 years under Phil, right? Just this week they announced that, which is something a lot of people have been requesting, right? That you can record the voice chat with your game clips. Stuff like that. They announced, well, there's a platinum trophy thing coming to the achievement system. They've upgraded the achievement system and so on. They have reintroduced exclusives. To be fair, so far only Gears and Clockwork, but we know more games are coming. But
did you buy the sales as well of Halo Combat or whatever it is? I wouldn't be surprised to see that go back to exclusive.
Absolutely. I think, I mean, what did it sell? I've seen the number 350,000 units.
Yeah. Under 500,000.
And obviously that's just like a good week after it came out. So that number might grow to 500,000 or something, or let it be 600,000. But even for that, that's not worth the damage you do to your brand, right? And getting rid of the reason to invest in your ecosystem, the main reason to invest in your ecosystem. So obviously that wasn't the thing. And I wonder, like, how will Fable perform, because that's like the last one left, right? I mean, Forza still isn't on PlayStation, but we know it will come later this year. And then Fable's going to be the last one from the announced multi-platform games, to my knowledge. I mean, Call of Duty, obviously, but that will stay multi-platform forever. I wonder if Fable will perform and why Halo didn't do that good, right? Is it because people don't know about Halo on PlayStation? Is it because they are not interested to play a 25-year-old game? Or what is it actually?
There's no reason. There's absolutely no way that people on PlayStation don't know what Halo is. There's not a chance. So I think it's just it has to either an age, or this is just an old game remade, or just zero interest in it because it's a shooter in a sea of shooters.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, Asha trying, well, again, focus on console. Good. I love to hear that. It's completely contradictory to raising the prices to 800 euros.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
But other than that, I can can't say that I don't have the feeling she actually means it. Again, a lot of
I was
updates.
going to say on the flip side as well, this on the console, on the pricing side of things, there's not much they can do with regards to the pricing. As you've mentioned, even now, they're at a massive loss. So there's not much you can do right now with regards to the actual console and its pricing.
Yeah.
Because that's not something that the new leadership was involved with in the first place.
Yeah.
The only control they have is the next console and its pricing.
True that. And it will be interesting to see if Xbox can turn it around with Project Helix, because from everything we know, this will be, and we'll talk about that in a second a little bit more in depth. It will be interesting to see what the business plan for this console is. But let's assume it is this open ecosystem, right? With other storefronts and Windows based, and it is with that a lot more developer friendly, because developers then don't have to develop dedicated console versions for their games anymore. They can just develop a PC version and let that run with a certain configuration on Helix, right? And all that everything sounds so fantastic, but there's still the point that a lot of people are bound by the force of habit, right? I've always had a PlayStation, I've always had a Nintendo, or I've always been a PC guy. Why would I invest in that? And because it's not like they will bring out Project Helix, and even if they do everything right with it, right, all of the sudden Xbox is going to blow up. This will take years. It will take years of continuous quality AAA games that give people the FOMO. There's not a single game that will do that. Gears alone is not going to create the FOMO for people so that they run out and buy an €800 Xbox Series console, right? That's not going to happen. It's going to happen if for years and years, consecutive years, Xbox has 2, 3, 4 of those Gears caliber games that people would miss out when an Elder Scrolls come out, and people miss on that, and then they miss out on the next proper Halo and the next Forza Horizon, and then they miss out on the next Doom, and then they miss out on the next Wolfenstein, and then they miss out, and then people will start to realize, oh, maybe it's a good idea to invest in an Xbox. But I'm not sure if Microsoft has the time that it takes to grow that, or gives Ashas the time to do that. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see, man. It will be interesting to see. The second pillar is content. Grow great games into global franchises. What do you think means that?
Well, they have a few global franchises as it stands at the moment. One of them is Minecraft.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what they need to get to. And it's hard to create games that are global franchises, because that needs to not only be a hit, but an absolute mega hit that is remembered fondly for years and has a massive cultivated fan base. And you just don't create those overnight. Halo was one of those. Gears was one of those.
Yeah.
Minecraft is one of
those again.
Fable, what could be one of those again, but again, it takes time. So, and you can't just, again, it's something that has to be cultivated. You don't just get a major global franchise overnight.
Listen, I'm fully with you. I'm fully with you there. They do have the IPs now, right? They
do have the IPs, whether or not they create the games within those IPs.
Exactly, right? I mean, they have basically announced this Fallout strategy, right? With Obsidian making a Fallout game and bridging the time with remakes, and and then Fallout 5 from Bethesda again, and so on. What I truly believe is that Asha is not giving the developers as much time anymore, because that is what it needs to make these beloved IPs into global franchises. I fully understand the train of thought behind it. You want Halo to be the big brand that you relate Xbox to, and you want Fallout to be that brand, and you want, I don't know, Gears to be that brand. But most of those games have such long development times that this is not going to happen. Because Minecraft is probably not the best example here. And that's, by the way, another core pillar of hers. But everything else is like, we are going to play the Gears campaign, right? Let's take Gears as an example. We're going to play that Gears campaign. We're going to love it. We're going to post about it. We're going to talk about it here on the podcast and everything. And then we play a month or two the multiplayer at best, right? And then that game is basically done. And we move on to the next game. And then we move on to which is then GTA. Then GTA comes out and everybody's going to move over to GTA. And we play that. And then in February, we get Fable. We play that. And in March, the next big thing comes out and we're going to play that. To be a global, massively known franchise, you need to have those moments of everybody's talking about it, and so more often than every 7 to 10 years. And that's the harsh reality. Fallout 4 is now 10 years old. Skyrim 14 years or something, 15 years old. By the time the next Elder Scrolls comes out, people that were born the year that Skyrim came out are adults. Right? With that, you are not growing that into growing IPs into a global franchise. And I feel like Asha, and I'm not sure on how she's going to do it. I have my speculations. She's not going to give developers longer than 3 years. It will be like, hey, we need Fallout to be here every 3 years. Otherwise, people will not think about Fallout as a global IP. They will see it as this cool game that comes out every decade or so. And I think that this is what they are looking into. And of course, not what it's for a lot of those games. No studio can make an Elder Scrolls game every 3 years or a Fallout game every 3 years. But that's exactly the thing. Then multiple studios do it. Take the Call of Duty approach that no studio makes a Call of Duty every year. But the franchise still is a yearly franchise because they have so many studios. And I'm not sure if that is not really sure right now if I think it's good that she does that or not, because I don't want to have like every year an Elder Scrolls. That's also not what I want. I want those games to be good, and that takes time. But at the same time, I understand the train of thought. If you want to make global franchises, you cannot have those if they are a once in a decade experience, right?
I agree.
And I think that this will change within Xbox. It took Playground games, and I highly, highly value what the Playground does, but it took them 10 years to make Fable. Those days are over. I think there will be like a real push towards more the 3-4 year development cycle.
Oh, and I fully expect Playground to be quicker on the next one anyway. We've got to. I think everybody can pretty much understand why it is that it took them so long. Yes, they're still using the same engine, but they've never ever built an RPG.
Yeah.
They built car games, so I give them the space that is required to build what they need to build. But the next one needs to be quicker off the mark, and I fully suspect it will be.
I agree there. Right. They will also spread out Halo to more than one studio.
Yep.
It's unacceptable that it takes 7 years in between Halo games. It's not what they need to do, right? So yeah, I think that is going to change, and we will see that. The third pillar was creation. Make Minecraft the world's creator platform. What do you think they are going to change about Minecraft? Because that has come up a lot over the last months.
Even though it is, and they have Minecraft Worlds, I think they need to probably expand what Minecraft Worlds is and how people can create on it. A bit like Roblox's ability to create whatever thing you want.
I agree. I don't want them to turn Minecraft into Roblox 2.0.
Nope.
I really do not want that. But I feel like that they will somehow strongly go towards this make your own content on this platform and maybe even sell it on our platform. Yeah. That will be a big push there. Yeah. Shout out to Sith Lord, who sends in a channel member chat for being a channel member for 47 months. So first of all, super appreciate the continued support.
1 month shy of 4 years.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. It's crazy how long we've been doing the podcast, actually. We are also closing in on episode 200, right?
Yep.
Crazy. And he says this, are you looking forward to the E-Day campaign? Absolutely. Yes. I spoke about it in the beginning of the show, how much I love how Gears E-Day feels, how it looks, how it plays. I think they've done a phenomenal job to modernize the movement, even if it takes time to get used to run on the left stick and getting rid a little bit of the shaky camera movement and so on. It feels so good to play, and I cannot wait. I love the darker vibe, the darker look. Reminds me a lot more of the original Gears, and I'm super hyped for Gears at the moment.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I've got a brand spanking new TV, and I really need a brand spanking new, super good on the OLED, super good on the Dolby Vision game to play, and I know Gears will bring that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Rave Demos is also in the chat. Cheers to you. No, E-Day, easily my most anticipated game. It's not GTA, it's Gears. I'm absolutely excited for that. I'm probably going to take a day off work when it comes out. Have to be careful. I know sometimes my boss is listening to the podcast. Not everyone, but sometimes.
He's just keeping an eye on you.
Yeah. Well, I never call in sick or something. I've never done that. And I'm not just saying that because he might listen. I've really never done that. I take a day off of my actually vacation days then. So yeah, fourth pillar is connection. Extend the worlds that fans love. Whatever that means, right? I mean, they already have a lot of. I think that's also part what we've seen with Fallout, right? Extend this whole thing. Maybe extend also means we are moving out of just being video games, more TV shows or movies or stuff like that. Getting into
Minecraft's already well into that, and the
Minecraft,
films by all
the Gears
accounts
movie is coming, right? Well. Halo, we had a show. Fallout had a show. They are already doing that. And wasn't there something about Elder Scrolls or is this just a rumor?
Just a rumor.
Just a rumor, yeah. But yeah, I got a question for you. So those are the 4 core pillars that Asha wants to do. If you were appointed CEO of Xbox, successor to Sharma tomorrow, what would you do to bring Xbox back?
Immediately pull all games that were exclusive back to full exclusivity.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is. I don't care how many players are on the other platform. I don't care. Pull it out.
Yeah.
Cancel Forza Horizon 6. Make
Cancel
it full
Fable.
exclusive. Cancel Fable being exclusive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything that was go multi-platform. Cancel it.
Yeah. And that's all you would do.
That's the first thing. No. Second thing would be, it is difficult, but you need to start investing in, again, and we know this. You need to start investing in the older IPs. You need to distribute the games to the IPs that have been left dormant and forgot about. You need to get those into capable hands. We've mentioned Banjo, Kazooie, etc. But you give that Toys for Bob. Give it to them. Go on. You make really good child games like Spyro and things like that. So here you go. Here's this one. Go have fun.
Yeah.
Trust me with it. It'll be like redistributing, making sure everybody's doing what they need to do. For Halo, it's a case of just get back to your core pillars. Get back to what made you good.
Yeah.
Don't worry so much about making another massive open world game again. Just make something tight and fun and with a great story. Make sure that
if it was that easy, they would have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they can. They can
They
do
can.
that. They're just not telling them. That the problem is they need to be told.
Exactly.
Not just left to their own devices. You need to be on them.
That's also one part I would absolutely do. If I were CEO, there were absolutely no days where developers and studios get to decide themselves what they want to make. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I know that this sounds like, ooh, but then we lose all creativity. Yeah, not going to happen. Listen, a studio like, I don't know, what's a good example? Let's take it, right? There are like 2-3 people on top that decide for that studio, right, which game they make. And every other developer in that studio, so 99% of the people working there, never had a saying in which game they are going to make. So it's not like we have the situation today that all those people working in the studios get to decide what they are making. They are already being told, you are making Doom, you are working on Halo, you are working on Gears, and so on. But it's decided by the studio heads and their top level managers there. And that's all that is. And I would get rid of that because their portfolio needs a way better strategic planning. For way too long, they had focused on 2 one-sided genres, right? Xbox was the shooter box, and maybe with Forza the racing box, and that's about it. Where are the kid-friendly games? Where's their version of Mario? You mentioned Banjo. That could absolutely be that. And I would force one studio to make that. And where is their big open world action RPG? Where is it? Yeah, Sony has at least something like Horizon, right? Or something.
Yeah.
Or Days Gone and stuff like that. Or Spider-Man for that matter. But where is that on the Xbox side of things? So I would absolutely force them to do a third-person action RPG. we need that. Yeah, Xbox needs their Assassin's Creed basically. So and so I would like that. I would fill out these gaps and I'm with you. I would also make everything exclusive. Would do one more thing that nobody talks about. If Xbox wants to go back to growing, I would finally set up a marketing department for Xbox, because that has been non-existent.
And don't say that, oh, well, it isn't growing really that much in Europe and it isn't really growing that much in the UK. And no, fuck that. That's defeatist. Go out and get those markets.
It is the rule number one in every business. If people do not know that your product exists, they will not buy it. And that's the harsh reality for Xbox, especially everywhere else outside of the United States. They do have their little marketing campaigns where they have the Vegas sphere lit up in the Xbox logo and the WWF marketing that apparently launched this week, right? For Gears. They have stuff like that in the United States, which you could already argue. Who's going to buy an Xbox if you light up the Vegas sphere? How many people are going to see that, right? And think, ooh, I need to buy an Xbox. But yeah, I would absolutely invest heavily on marketing in all markets across Europe, across South America. And yes, that would cost money. I know that, but it's their biggest problem, because they do have a good product. They do have good games now. In 26 and 27, 28, they don't have a game problem per se. But people are not buying Xboxes because they don't know anything about the brand. I would go so hard on all sports events. Yeah, there wouldn't be a FIFA World Cup without it in every soccer match on the sideline. Pardon?
Yep. Without Xbox plastered everywhere, or
plastered
even
everywhere.
The Euros that are coming up next. Like
there would be TV commercials. There would be social media commercials. I would so heavily invest into this aggressive marketing, which they had back in the beginning of the 360 days, right? Where they really told people why Xbox is better than their competitors. And I would heavily invest in that. And I see nobody talk about that. And it doesn't matter what you do with Fable. It doesn't matter what you do with Halo or Fallout. If nobody knows that those are Xbox exclusives, if they don't know what the Xbox console or brand is, they will not be able to go back to growth, which is what she so heavily wants, right? So yeah, that would be my moves if I were CEO.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I would also agree with the marketing.
Yeah. All right. We've got to talk about one more thing. Xbox Helix has made some headlines because earlier this week, Jess Corden put out a opinion piece, or I think it was towards the end of last week, Friday or Saturday or something. An opinion piece on whether it still makes sense for Project Helix to have Steam on it. And he thinks, and it was clearly labeled
the only people that it would affect would be Xbox.
Yeah, let me just give context to the story really quick. He was clearly labeling this as an opinion piece and everything, and of course it got picked up by so many of those dumbass media outlets as, Xbox pulling Steam from Helix and stuff like that. And I thought definitely wanted to talk to you about this. Under Ashas' new leadership, a lot of things and premises of the old leadership have changed. To this day,
Yep.
they have never ever officially announced Steam on the console, on Helix.
Nope.
Not once. There was one statement from Phil about 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, where he said, well, the next console should be an open platform supporting stores like Epic and good old games. That's what he mentioned. He
Yep.
never, not once mentioned Steam. And ever since Ashas took over, for instance, at the Game Developer Conference this year, where they talked quite a bit about Helix, right, is the one phrasing that they always used ever since. Actually, still under Phil, they never ever mentioned it again that Epic will be there. It was just one little comment from Phil. Other than that, they've always used the phrasing, it will play PC games. But that can mean a lot of things, right? Technically, it would play PC games if it only runs the Xbox PC store, right? Then it runs PC games. So this is a very vague phrasing. And under the new leadership, a lot of premises have changed. They've gone back to exclusives. They've gone back on focusing on the console. They've gone removed this is an Xbox ad and so on. So a lot of the premises have changed. And I think it is a fair discussion to have. Dutch, what do you think? Does it make sense that the Xbox Helix will have PC storefronts like Steam or Epic and good old games? Or do you think it might not be a good move and they will probably remove it? What are your thoughts before I give my opinions on that?
There's always two sides. From a consumer perspective, yes, absolutely, it would be fantastic to have all storefronts on your PC.
Yeah.
From a business perspective, it would be an absolute clusterfuck to have all storefronts on your PC. Because unless your market is going to match price-wise the other storefronts, match them, and pay the creators exactly what the other storefronts pay the creators, you are not going to get the same people on it. No, not only that, but people with, if you go into Steam's summer sale, they go dramatically low. They've got thousands of games. People have got massive libraries.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to automatically detract. A second part of that is also my Xbox's store. Xbox's Windows store is significantly worse. For some reason, the games on there run worse than they do on Steam. Even Xbox's own games run better on Steam than they do on Xbox.
Yep.
Or Windows. So multiple things need to change in order for that to work for them. From a business perspective, no, it would not be beneficial for them to have everything on there. From a consumer perspective, yes, it would be beneficial because consumers would then have choice, but then they would lose money. So
yeah, it is an interesting discussion because there you can say so a lot about it because, well, first of all, what's the business model of the console? Typically, consoles were never those products that make a lot of money by selling the actual hardware. Yeah, it was about the income that you generate through your storefront. That's why I always say, well, Xbox isn't really selling you a console. They are selling you their storefront. That's where they make the money. If you go out and buy Assassin's Creed, then in their storefront on the console, they make money off of that. If you buy all those microtransactions in Call of Duty or Fortnite, they make money off of that. And that's the business model. And that's why we always got the console hardware fairly cheap. When the Series X or PlayStation 5 came out, $500, it was really challenging to build a PC for $500 with the same performance. Yeah.
Yep.
If you would build an equivalent PC, you were probably at around 900 to 1,000 euros. And so basically, even if they didn't sell it at a loss, they didn't really make money out of selling the hardware. And now, of course, bringing Steam to your ecosystem will mean you're not generating any revenue. If people buy games then on Steam, and let's face it, a lot of people will do that if they have Steam on there, then games are typically a little cheaper on Steam than on the console. In the console store, Steam has better sales. Even the PC games do perform, like you said, better. There's a lot of reasons why people would just buy games on Steam and play it on the console then.
Yeah.
Then you can't really subsidize the hardware anymore, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So this is really the pickle there. And especially with hardware prices now exploding. Again, the Series X is sitting at 800 euros right now, 6 years after it came out. When it launched, it cost 500. We are looking at, okay, if they want to make money off of hardware sales from Project Helix and the storage prices being so high, what are we looking at? We are looking at way above 1,000. Way above 1,000. And with that, you're not going to grow. And that's absolutely their intention, right? To grow.
Yep.
Again. And even exclusives will not change that because, let's face it, they are not going to make true console exclusivity again. They are not going to pull away from PC games. So what they would sell you then is, with Project Helix, is basically a pre-built PC. Where they need to make money off. And it's hard for me to imagine that the console itself or the hardware business itself will be for them such a good thing, and they will sell so many units that they say, hey, our business model isn't the storefront anymore. Our business model is selling hardware. Not at that price point. If we are, and we easily would talk then about 1,200 euros or something, if you ask me. If not more. And so it really is the question: are they bringing Steam to that? I lack of imagination in how that would be successful for them. I've seen people say, well, they could make a deal with the storefronts. They could make a deal with Steam or Epic or Good Old Games, that they do a revenue share, that every game you buy on Steam through your Helix, Xbox gets, I don't know, 5% cut or something. You know, why would Steam do that? Why?
Yep.
Yeah, it's hard for me to imagine that they would do that. And even if they do it, what would be the 5% compared to the 25% that they get right now?
But not only that, but how would they track it?
People would need to buy 5%. Yeah, well, they can track that probably. But they would need to sell 5 times the amount of games that they sell to people right now, just for having Steam on it, if Steam would agree to a 5% revenue share. And I can't see that happening. So honestly, if you would ask me, it was never the plan. Even under Phil, they never mentioned Steam. If they were talking, hey, we are opening up to PC, they were talking mainly about their PC storefront. And I know that in this one interview, in a side notice, Phil mentioned Epic. I mean, Epic has a share on the PC market of basically nothing, right? Epic would be probably more willing to say, hey, if our storefront is the only is available on Xbox as an exclusive storefront or alternative storefront, we would gladly share our revenue, because even shared revenue is better than no revenue, right?
Yeah.
So I could see that, but I think that's way bigger than way more complicated than we think it is. So honestly, if you would ask me, I would say Helix is going to have the Xbox PC storefront and other PC launchers that they own, because they also own Battle.net, right?
Yeah.
And they might grow that. And Battle.net is actually really good. I mean, there's only a handful of games on there, but that's actually good. Maybe they just make that their main storefront, right? They have a partnership right now already with EA through Gamepass, and you can also subscribe to Ubisoft Plus through Xbox. Maybe they're talking about those launchers where they already have like these partnerships. Those launchers. Rave Demos in the chat says they only ever said the quote other leading storefronts. Yeah. Exactly. So they have the Ubisoft launcher there because you can subscribe to Ubisoft Plus through that thing. And EA and then Battle.net and their PC. But I just lack of imagination that we will see Steam on there. What do you think, dude?
It is hard to tell. I just don't know whether or not anything would really be a massive benefit to them outside of just refining their own store.
That's definitely something they should do.
Yeah.
I mean, for a long time, honestly, I was of the opinion that, I mean, we all know the ROG Xbox LEX is the blueprint for Helix.
Yeah.
And how is it on that thing? You boot up the device, you directly go to Xbox mode, right? You basically see the Xbox overlay, and yes, you can download those launchers and play your games directly from that menu. It boots up the Steam launcher in the background then, and you can play your games. But have you ever tried to purchase a game through that? That is not directly possible. Of course, you can switch to Windows mode, go to the Steam store, buy the game. But in Xbox mode, you cannot directly purchase the games. And maybe that's their bet that they are making. Hey, if you have bought something on your PC, desktop PC, right? And you already own it, you can play it through this launcher, but you cannot access.
You can't buy it.
And then the bet is that a lot of people are too lazy and just buy it then through the Xbox or PC storefront, because that's there. That they can buy the games with 2 clicks. Otherwise, they would have to get up from the couch, go to the PC, log into Steam, buy the game, then download it on Helix and play it, right? Just make it. But I don't think that it is enough, because it is too convenient. You can also buy it through the app of your phone and then download it on the ROG Xbox LE, right? And that's why I don't see how having Steam on there is going to help them. And honestly, coming back to my previous question or earlier question, what would you do if you were CEO of Xbox? I would definitely improve the PC storefront heavily.
Yep.
From what you mentioned, games need to run equally good on that storefront than they do on Steam. But I would also like that there is basically an awful search functionality. Yeah, the discoverability in the PC storefront is awful. I would improve all those things and then pull games off of Steam. Because if we are talking exclusive, it doesn't mean you don't support PC, but don't support other storefronts. And I know it's a risky move because people love to have their games on Steam. But hey, exclusivity for your storefronts. If you have an Elder Scrolls only available in your storefront on PC, on console, but not on Steam, people would still move over and play that. But for that, your PC storefront has to be good.
Yep, I agree.
Or just buy Steam. I mean, you're freaking Microsoft, right? Yeah, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I fully expect them to announce Helix in November for the 25th anniversary, where we will most likely get a stream or something to celebrate 25 years of Xbox. It also coincides with the end of their FanFest tour, right?
Yeah.
And then we will get more informations. Anything you want to add to that?
No, I think we've covered it well.
Good. Dutch. Then it's time to move to the community questions of the week. And we have a couple of good ones here today. Each and every Wednesday, typically, you guys can write in. We put up posts on YouTube and X and everywhere, and you can. Or this week I got a lot of DMs with questions as well. Just send us in questions or topics you would like us to discuss. We don't have a paywall of Patreon or anything, so everyone can write in. And the first question comes in from Post Moha. What's your take on the Xbox tax? Lately, it seems worse than ever, given how Kotaku or Eurogamer write articles about Xbox. I don't know if it gotten worse. It always has been bad. So
yeah, it's always been very bad. It's always been bad. I don't think it's going to get any better. To be fair, they've got their media darlings, and they'll stick with them.
Bad news on Xbox just generate clicks.
Yeah,
that's for some reason.
Even the smallest of non-bad news, like the tiniest of things, always gets blown intentionally out of proportion, like it's the end of the world.
I mean, I feel like the thing that has changed lately is that with Xbox having exclusives again, and definitely a different vibe with Ashas in the room, right? A little bit that the console wars have re-emerged again. They had their emergence day again, and with that, obviously, a lot more articles are being written again on console war topics. But yeah, it definitely exists, the Xbox tax, and I also feel like Xbox has taken off the gloves a little there. I've seen people like Stein and so on reacting way bigger to bad takes online. Yeah, just this week, I think it was Kotaku or something, where they wrote an article on Project Positron, and the headline was something like, I have to paraphrase now, when you don't have any news, you have to reintroduce old stuff or something like that. And like, he was out there again, paraphrasing, posting something like, yeah, it's not like we had like 2 months ago the big showcase. We are just launched Halo and the Gears beta and the Doom DLC and this and that. And we haven't seen stuff like that from Xbox under Phil.
Yeah.
So I think that also has changed. But yeah, the Xbox tax definitely exists. I got a German question from Wurstwasser, which is sausage sauce, translated.
Okay.
And he asks, will we see you at Gamescom this year?
Negative.
Negative. At some point, I definitely wanna go again. But it's always like Gamescom is in the middle of the summer break here in Germany. Mm-hmm. And if I would go this year...
unless you're media, it's really not worth it.
Yeah. If I would go this year, I wouldn't have a family vacation. And I'd rather go to vacation with my kids once a year. And so that's why I can't go. And also, like you said, we are not that big-time YouTubers. And if you are not big media, it's gotten really, really hard to get into Gamescom. Probably.
Yep, super difficult. Yeah. I'm sure it's like 100,000 YouTube subscribers or something now.
Yeah. So yeah, we are not at Gamescom this year, unfortunately. Manhalolorian writes in, will Gears be nominated for GOTY, Game of the Year? I sure hope. I mean, we haven't played the game yet, so, well, we have played the beta, which is fantastic.
I'm going to go down on a limb here and say no.
There is the Xbox tax, right? It is just a thing.
No,
it is
the
also
it's the Keeley tax.
Yeah. I mean,
GTA's won it before it's even released. We all know this.
Yeah, but he asks about the nomination. Winning is something different than nominating. Being nominated.
Nah. Nope.
Not in a year where we have so many contenders already. Yeah, we have things like Resident Evil or Crimson Desert or even Assassin's Creed was really hyped. We have obviously GTA. We have Forza Horizon, which will
You've got the Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Zelda Ocarina of Time. So it will be really hard for Gears to even get nominated. But should it get nominated? Well, that's something we will discuss once we have played the full game, right?
Yep. You already know who's won it.
Yeah. Yeah. Time for the big bridge question of the week.
Come on, then.
He says this. Hey, Boxy and Dutch, see you at your fantasy podcast today. Time to open the wine cellar of video games. What's one video game that has aged like fine wine, and what's one that has aged like a year-old milk? His choices?
Age of Empires 2 has aged like fine wine.
Good choice. Good choice. There are a couple of games that have aged really, really well. His choice was for wine, Witcher.
On the flip side,
and Milk Driver.
The one that the Milk easy. Any game that was on original Xbox that people play on backwards compatible. Milk, sour milk, clumpy milk, because they all mechanically play horrifically.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this is the one reason I can't go back and play super old games, is because mechanically they feel so bad to play.
There are a couple of
when
really
they originally
old
released,
games.
We were like, yay! Woohoo, this is so cool. These days, when you play them after playing all mechanically working games, you go, oh, this is pain. This is pain incarnate.
I wouldn't generalize that because I feel like, for
I
instance,
would.
a lot of 2D games have actually aged pretty well. You still can go back and play Super
I'm
Mario
talking
Brothers.
3D games.
Yeah,
I'm talking 3D games.
Yeah. That's why I say we have to distinguish here. There are a lot of good 2D games, or even some of the Super Nintendo games. You can still play games like Secret of Evermore. It's one game I play probably once a year, and I think it has aged like fine wine. I mean, The Witcher is now 11 years old, and for an 11-year-old game, you can't tell that age on that game. I think that's, for instance, the difference towards Skyrim. With Skyrim, you can already tell, well, it aged. It still aged pretty okay. It's still fun to play, but you can tell. You can't do that with The Witcher. So The Witcher is definitely a good choice. But I think there are a lot of 2D games, I would say. Like, there are some 40-year-old games that still play really well. But I'm with you on some of the 3D games from that GameCube generation, PS2 generation, or Xbox, OG Xbox generation. I've tried to play a little bit of Crimson Skies when this came out, and I was like, it's so awesome to play Crimson Skies on my Rock Alley, but the game itself didn't age well.
Nope.
Also, I feel like Diablo 1 aged like milk. Oh, it's horrible to play. Or The Witcher 1. Have you played The Witcher 1? I'm going to pick that. Ugh, horrible. You can't play that anymore.
Nope. Milk. Sour milk.
Absolutely.
Clumpy sour milk.
All right, Dutch. Let's wrap this up. I want to say a big, big thank you to everyone who joined us here on this Saturday. Unusual day for us to do a podcast. So thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. I think we will be back next Thursday if news allow it, right? Other than that, Dutch, anything you wanna give to the audience?
No, not at the moment. Nope. I'm just chilling out. I'm going to step out of this very warm room as soon as this finishes and get some cold, fresh air and get a drink. And that's me. And then I'm going to chill and play some Adventures of Elliot.
Ooh, nice.
That Boxy's going to also play.
Yeah, at some point.
Yes, you will.
Not that
you
far.
You will.
I want to finish Hades 2 first, but then I think and it won't be long before I play it. All right.
So when you play it, you're eventually when you start playing it, you're going to be like, "Why did I wait? Why did I wait?"
I'm asking the same question myself with Hades 2 right now. Why did I wait so long to play that? It happens, Dutch. It happens. I only have so much time. All right. Let's wrap this up. Again, we hope to be back this Thursday. Before that, I hope everyone's enjoying their weekend, their Saturdays, their Sunday. And enjoy your games. Play the Gears beta. It's absolutely worth it. And we hope to see you the next time. Don't forget to game on.